Women don't respect the nice guy. Let's get one thing straight. Being nice doesn't guarantee respect, especially not from women. In fact, it often does the opposite. Women don't fall for the guy who always says yes, who's always available, who never challenges her. That kind of man seems easy, predictable, safe, but not exciting, not strong, not respected. And deep down, even if she says she wants a nice guy, what she really craves is a man with a backbone, a man who knows who he is and doesn't bend just to keep her happy. When you're too nice, you start walking on eggshells. You avoid conflict. You hold back your opinions just to keep the peace. You let her lead the dynamic. You become passive. And over time, she loses interest. Not because you're not good enough, but because you're too easy to get. That's not love. That's convenience. Being kind isn't the issue. Being spineless is. There's a difference between being a good man and being a doormat. Here's what this looks like in real life. You're dating a girl. She starts canceling plans last minute. You say, "No worries, I understand." Then it happens again and again. And you keep saying the same thing, hoping she sees how patient and understanding you are. But here's what she's actually seeing. This guy has no standards. He'll tolerate anything. I don't need to take him seriously. And just like that, you're out. Not with a bang, but a slow fade. Ghosted. Left wondering what went wrong. She didn't leave because you weren't nice. She left because she didn't respect you. Being a good man doesn't mean being agreeable. It means standing firm, being kind when you choose to be, not when you feel forced to be. And when a woman sees that, that's when she respects you. Kindness makes you a people pleaser. When your default setting is to be kind all the time, you start chasing approval. You stop being real and start being agreeable, just to keep people happy. That's not kindness. That's fear, dressed up as good intentions. People pleasing is rooted in the need to be liked. You avoid saying no. You avoid disappointing anyone. You try to fix every problem, smooth over every rough edge, take care of everyone's emotions. But the truth is, you can't lead, attract, or grow while constantly seeking approval. Stoic men, strong men, don't need validation. They move with intention, not desperation. But the people pleaser, he sacrifices his own needs just to avoid conflict. He trades honesty for harmony, and that slowly drains his power. The worst part? People don't even appreciate it. They expect it. And once they expect it, it becomes your job forever. Here's what that looks like. Let's say you've had a long, exhausting day. You finally sit down to rest, but a friend calls needing help to move furniture. You really want to say no, but you don't. You say yes because you don't want to disappoint them, and you tell yourself it's the kind thing to do. But deep down, you feel it. You're tired, annoyed, and frustrated. At them, but mostly at yourself. You abandoned your own boundary to keep someone else happy. And that's the trap. When kindness is used to avoid rejection, you're not being kind. You're being controlled, and people will sense that. They won't see you as generous. They'll see you as someone they can always call when they need something. But never respect when you need space. Real kindness comes from strength. People-pleasing comes from fear. One earns respect. The other gets you used. You're teaching people to use. Most men don't realize this. But every time you say yes when you really want to say no, you're not just being kind. You're training people. You're teaching them exactly how to treat you. And if you're always showing up, always giving, always fixing problems that aren't yours, you're sending a loud message. My time doesn't matter. My energy doesn't matter. I don't need anything in return. Eventually, people stop asking if you can help. They just expect that you will. They don't appreciate it anymore. They don't even see it as generosity. It becomes normal. It becomes your role. And here's the kicker. When you finally do say no or pull back or put up a boundary, suddenly you're the problem. You're the one who's changed. You're selfish because people don't get mad at you for changing. They get mad that the version of you they could use isn't available anymore. This is what happens when you build your life around being needed. It feels good at first, being the dependable one, the reliable one, the nice guy everyone can count on. But over time, it becomes a prison, and you locked yourself inside. You start noticing that people only come around when they need something. They don't check in unless they want a favor. They don't consider your time, your stress, your schedule. And deep down, you feel it. You're not valued. You're just useful. That kind of kindness turns into quiet resentment. You smile on the outside, but something inside you is slowly drying up. You feel drained, burnt out, underappreciated, and worst of all, alone. Stoicism teaches us to act with intention, to help when it's right, not when it's expected. But if you've made yourself the go-to guy for everyone else's problems, you've stopped living for yourself. The world won't give you boundaries. You have to build them. Because if you don't teach people how to respect your energy, they'll keep taking from you until there's nothing left. She gets bored. When you're too available. Let's be real for a second. If you're always there when she calls, always free when she wants to hang out, always replying in 5 seconds flat, you're killing the attraction without even knowing it. And you're doing it to yourself. You think you're being romantic. You think you're showing her how much you care. But what you're really doing is removing all the mystery, all the edge, all the reason she had to chase in the first place. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men need to hear. Women don't want a man who's always around. They want a man who has a life, a mission, a direction, something bigger than her. If you're always available, always adjusting your schedule, always putting her first, you're not showing love. You're showing neediness. You're showing her that she's the center of your world. And no woman wants that kind of pressure. She wants to feel like she won your attention, like she earned it, not like you had nothing better going on. Let's call it what it is. A lot of men today are too soft when it comes to women. You drop everything for her. You chase her more than you chase your goals. You make her the prize. And then when she starts pulling away, when she stops texting as much, when she suddenly needs space, you sit there confused, asking what you did wrong. Wake up. You didn't do anything wrong in a dramatic way. You just made it too easy, too predictable, too much. She's not a bad person for losing interest. She's just responding to your energy. If your life doesn't excite you, why would it excite her? That doesn't mean ignore her or play games. But it does mean you stop acting like love is earned through overavailability. She doesn't want a pet. She wants a partner. Be the man who has options. Be the man who doesn't need her, but chooses her. That's when you become attractive. That's when the boredom disappears. And that's when respect begins. People take advantage of your good intentions. There's a painful truth a lot of good men eventually learn the hard way. Just because your heart is in the right place doesn't mean people will treat you right. You can have the purest intentions. You can go out of your way to help, support, encourage, give, forgive, and still get stepped on. Why? Because the world doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards strength, awareness, and boundaries. People don't see your kindness as something noble. They see it as an opportunity. They think, he won't push back. He won't say no. I can use this. And if you let them, they will. Again and again. Not just women, friends, coworkers, family, anyone. You might say, but I just want to be a good person. That's fine. But there's a big difference between being good and being easy. And let's be honest, some of you have convinced yourselves that your kindness makes you strong. But strength without limits is just weakness in disguise. If you can't say no, if you can't walk away, if you can't protect your time, your mind, your space, then your kindness is costing you more than you realize. This is where a man needs to grow up. You can't walk through life thinking everyone's going to treat you the way you treat them. That's not how the world works. People test you. They see what they can get away with. And if you never show them where the line is, they'll keep crossing it. Wake up. Stop assuming that being the good guy will protect you. It won't. A man must learn to protect himself first, then offer kindness from a position of strength, not desperation. Because once people realize you'll give without limits, they'll take without guilt. You don't need to stop being kind, but you do need to stop being blind. Your softness kills her respect. Let's clear something up. Women don't lose interest first. They lose respect. And once that's gone, everything else crumbles. You can't keep being soft and expect her to stay drawn to you. You think being overly kind, overly forgiving, and always agreeable makes her feel loved. But what it really does? It slowly kills the image she had of you as a man. When you don't challenge her, when you never disagree, never lead, never draw the line, when you let her walk over your opinions, your space, your values, because you're afraid of losing her. She might smile, she might thank you, she might even say she appreciates you, but inside, she's losing interest. Fast. She might not even know why, but you do. Because deep down, you feel it too. You feel yourself getting smaller, quieter, more passive, just to avoid conflict. You traded your edge for comfort, and that's exactly what made you forgettable. It's not about being rude or controlling. It's about being a grounded man with standards. A man who leads, not follows. Who doesn't crumble just because she's upset. Who doesn't bend just to keep the peace. A man who can handle her emotions without being manipulated by them. The truth is, a woman will test your strength without even realizing it. And if you keep giving in just to keep things smooth, just to show you're a good guy, you fail every test. Not because you're weak physically, but because you have no backbone. Wake up, brother. She doesn't want a doormat. She wants a man she can look up to. And if your version of kindness is being overly soft, overly submissive, overly agreeable, she might keep you around. But the spark, the respect, the desire, gone. Kindness without strength is not attractive. It's forgettable. And no woman stays drawn to a man she forgets. You'll end up resentful and bitter. Here's something no one talks about when they tell you to be kind all the time. The more you give without boundaries, the more you start to resent it. You might start off feeling good about being the nice guy, helping others, being the reliable one, feeling like you're doing the right thing. But it builds up, slowly. You give and give and give, and at some point, you stop getting anything back. No appreciation, no recognition, not even a simple thank you. And then comes the silent resentment. You start feeling like everyone's using you. You start questioning, why am I always the one who has to give? Where's my reward? And if you're honest with yourself, you know it. You're tired, and you're drained, and you're starting to wonder if it was even worth it in the first place. It's a dangerous trap, because the more you give, the more people expect it. The more they think you'll always be there, and the more you silently build up that bitterness inside you. Eventually, you start resenting the very people you've been helping. You feel like you've been taken for granted, used, maybe even betrayed. But the worst part is, you've done it to yourself. No one made you give everything. No one forced you to bend over backward every time someone needed something. You did that. You allowed it. And now, it's starting to eat at you. Don't ignore this. Because once you let that bitterness fester, it doesn't just disappear. It affects your attitude, your relationships, your energy. You walk around feeling like the world owes you something. And you'll be surprised how quickly that dark energy repels the people you actually want to be around. This is what happens when you keep sacrificing yourself for others. It doesn't make you noble. It makes you bitter. And no one wants to be around a bitter man. The solution isn't to stop being kind, it's to stop being a doormat. Set boundaries, stop giving just to get approval. And when you stop resenting the world, you'll see how much more you get back in return. Not because you gave, but because you started respecting yourself first. You're hiding your true self. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves when we're overly kind is that we're being our true selves. But the truth? You're actually hiding the real you behind a mask of niceness. Think about it. How many times have you held back your thoughts, your feelings, your true opinions because you didn't want to rock the boat? How many times have you swallowed your desires or ignored your own needs just to make someone else feel comfortable? How many times have you said yes when your gut told you to say no? You're not being nice in those moments. You're hiding. And here's the problem with that. When you hide your true self, you create a version of yourself that isn't even yours. You start playing a role, someone who's always accommodating, always agreeable, always putting others first. And in doing so, you lose touch with what you actually want. This is the trap men fall into when they believe kindness means sacrificing themselves. You're not only deceiving others, you're deceiving yourself. You've convinced yourself that this version of you, the one that never challenges anyone, never sets boundaries, never says what he really thinks, is the good version of you. But deep down, it doesn't feel right. Because it's not you. You're not designed to live for others. You're designed to be an individual. You have a purpose, a drive, and goals that should matter more than being the nice guy everyone depends on. When you hide your true self, you give the world a watered-down version of you. A version that no one, not even yourself, will respect in the long run. It's time to wake up. Stop hiding. Stop playing a role. You can be kind, but it's not kindness if it's at the expense of your authenticity. The truth will always set you free, but only if you have the courage to embrace it. And when you finally stop pretending to be who you think others want, that's when you'll start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, and the right respect. Because the real you, he's worth more than any fake version you've been hiding behind. You'll become invisible. There's a brutal reality that most nice guys don't see coming. When you're always available, always accommodating, and never pushing back, you eventually become invisible. You might think being the good guy means everyone will notice you, that they'll appreciate you more. But the opposite happens. People stop noticing you altogether. You're not the guy they see as a challenge. You're not the guy they respect. You're the guy who's always there, always willing, always predictable. And in the end, that makes you forgettable. Why? Because human nature craves unpredictability. It craves challenge. It craves tension. When you're always around, always giving, always predictable, you lose that edge. The thing that made you interesting in the first place. You become just another face in the crowd. Think about it. How often do people remember the ones who always said yes? How often do they remember the ones who were too easy to please? Rarely. It's the people who have standards, the people who say no when necessary, the people who lead with purpose. Those are the people who stand out. But when you become too available, too accommodating, too kind, you lose your position in the spotlight. You fade into the background. And here's the thing. Women, friends, family, they all respect men who aren't afraid to put themselves first, who have their own lives and priorities. The man who's constantly giving in, constantly running to people's aid, he might be relied on, but he won't be remembered. If you want to be respected, if you want to be wanted, you have to make people earn your attention. You have to be someone who's not always available, someone who has boundaries, someone who has a purpose that extends beyond just pleasing others. You don't have to be a jerk, but you do need to stop being invisible. Start living for yourself. Start creating a life that others have to earn their way into. That's when you'll stop blending in and start standing out. Kindness leaves you alone in the end. At the end of the day, the cruelest truth about kindness is this: it will leave you alone when you need people the most. You give and give and give. You go out of your way to help others, to be there when no one else is, to put others' needs ahead of your own. But here's the kicker: when you're the one in need, when it's your turn to ask for help, where is everyone? They're gone. That's the reality. Because the kind, self-sacrificing man who's always putting others first might get praise in the moment. But when the tables turn, when he's the one who needs something, he finds himself standing alone. Why? Because kindness without boundaries doesn't build genuine connections. It builds expectations. And people start seeing you as the one who always gives. They don't see you as someone who needs anything. They see you as someone who's safe to take from. And that's where it all falls apart. You might think, well, I'm just doing the right thing. Why wouldn't people be there for me when I need them? But it's not about what's right. It's about what's real. If you never set limits, if you never demand anything in return, people won't see you as an equal. They'll see you as a resource. No one values someone who doesn't value themselves. And when you're always the one giving, never asking, never setting boundaries, people start to take you for granted. It's easy to overlook the guy who never needs anything. He's too predictable, too safe. You might find yourself alone when the hard times come, because people won't know how to show up for you. They don't owe you anything. You've been too nice, too available, and they've come to expect it. Here's the wake-up call. You need to start putting yourself first. Not in a selfish way, but in a way that shows you demand respect. You have to stop acting like you're here to be used. Because kindness doesn't automatically earn loyalty or love. It earns dependence. And dependence doesn't lead to lasting relationships. It leads to loneliness. Wake up. Realize that you can't be there for everyone without being there for yourself first. Stop being the guy who's always nice and start being the man who stands firm, draws boundaries, and demands respect. Because when you finally start living for yourself, not for the approval of others, that's when people will respect you. And that's when you'll never be alone again. Look, here's the harsh reality that most won't tell you. Kindness, when done without boundaries, is a trap you set for yourself. It's not noble. It's not virtuous. It's a manipulation, even if you don't see it that way. You're giving up your power and your life for others while they take from you and walk away. You might think it's for the greater good, but the truth is, it's all for you. You're doing it to make yourself feel good, to seek approval, to avoid conflict. But the cost? Your dignity, your time, your energy, and in the end, your peace of mind. Kindness, when it's not rooted in self-respect, will ruin you. It will leave you bitter, resentful, and invisible. It will make people take you for granted, and it will ensure that when you need help the most, you're standing alone. It's not a sacrifice. It's a slow form of self-destruction. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you agree? Have you fallen into this trap before? Drop a comment below and let me know your experiences. What's the cost of kindness in your life? Has it left you feeling empty, used, or frustrated? I'll be reading your comments and reaching out to create a connection because, at the end of the day, I want to make sure we're all waking up and learning from each other. You don't have to go through this alone. Start setting boundaries now, reclaim your life, and stop being the guy who gives away his worth for free. I'll be here, ready to help you take control.